fucking hit him, please.
Thank you.
What's going on, guys? Ergo here with a Madden 18 offensive scheme. We're going to be running out of this gun tight offset tight end. It's in the Saints playbook and the Jets. It's in a bunch of other playbooks as well, but one of the plays I'm going to show you guys, this Saints spot shake, is only in the Saints and the Jets. So if you want to run this scheme to its entirety that I'm showing you, then you have to use one of these playbooks. But also I'm going to show you some plays like this bench and this PA shot seams in the inside zone that are in pretty much any playbook with this formation. This is definitely an introductory scheme, or introductory to this formation. I'm just going to show you these 4 plays. They're the ones you see at the right there. They're all the audibles except for that spot shake. But the inside zone, the bench, and the shot seams, we're going to be running. This formation has just a bunch of really good plays. The Saints in is really good. Saints spots is really good. The trap is not bad. It's got a screen. This out halfback swing is really good. And it also has a halfback draw. So it has a bunch of good plays. I'm just going to show you a couple here just to get you started running this scheme. I may post another video later just adding to it. But for now, we're going to be running these 4 plays. I'm going to show you the setups in practice mode because some of the plays do require, to do some different things. So I'm going to show you these setups in practice mode, and then I'm going to show you. I'm just going to talk over online clips. Okay, so let's get started. So the first play I'm going to show you guys is this Saint spot shake. It's the only play that's not in the stock audibles. So if you're one of those guys who likes to call a play that you can't audible to, call this spot shake out of the huddle. I'm just going to run it against random defense. I'd run this play sparingly. I prefer the other 2 plays more. I run hurry up as well if you've ever watched any of my videos, and I basically run my offense based on where I am on the field. So if I'm on the left hash mark, I'll call a certain play. If I'm on the right hash mark, I'll call a certain play. If I'm in the middle of the field, sometimes I have a play for if I'm just in the middle of the field. The spot shake is not. It's pretty universal. It can work on either hash mark. So it's not one of the plays that I'll call depending on where I am in the field. I run this play pretty sparingly, so I'm not going to really get into detail. I'll get a little more specific when we get into the clips. Basically, your reads are going to be that X and A streaks. You're going to want to look at those right off the bat, and that'll tell you whether it's man or zone. If they're running zone, you're going to want to high pass it to either A or X, and you can, even if they look covered, you can throw them open. And I'll show you when we get into the clips. So if they're in zone, you want to look at this X and A. After that, if they're in man, this B, this spot shake, is going to stop and then keep going. It's kind of what makes this play unique. This route's not as good as it was in years past, but it's still pretty solid. So that's going to be your man read. That can even get open against zone. The yellows will kind of sit back and go with the streak sometimes, and you can sneak this B route under. After that, these 2 wheels, they're going to be like kind of your bailout routes, and they kind of take a while to develop, so it's good that they're going to be the last routes you look towards. What I'd like to do is when I hike it, I immediately look to A and RB kind of simultaneously to see if I have a quick read. But if none of them are open, I just kind of go on through the progression. So I'll get into the online clips now, and then I'll explain more of it there. So I don't have that many clips for this, so I'm going to try to get through this quick. But basically for these streaks, these are going to be your zone reads. If you read zone, a lot of times these 2 streaks can kind of find like that sensitive spot in the zone, and you can hit them, especially when you high pass. You see for pretty much all these plays, I'm going to high pass it to A. You're going to want to have like a tall tight end there. And you high pass it, get it over those yellows, and a lot of times you can even throw him open. Even when he looks covered, you just high pass it, get him the ball. So after you look towards A, you're going to want to look towards B here. He's going to run that Saint spot, so he's going to stop in the middle and then keep going. You see here, if he runs man, you can definitely throw this route open. But you see, this is against zone, and the zones kind of go back and let this B route get underneath. And the last routes on this play are going to be these two wheels. They work really well against cover 4. They can work against cover 2 as well. You're not going to want to throw them against man. But if you go through your progressions, or you just see this off the bat, these routes can definitely get open. They can definitely get you some short yards that you need. See, here's the second inches. I read that the flat route's not going to get out there quick enough, and I just hit it for a quick gain. So the next play in this scheme, and really getting into the kind of the juice here, is this PA shot seam, and it is your RB audible for this formation. And it needs to be run. This play needs to be run on the right hash mark, and I'll show you why here. What you're going to want to do is drag B, and you need to put X, motion him out to the left. And the reason you do that is because once he's motioned out to the left, you can put him on this comeback, and that comeback's really important. I'll show you why when I get into the clips. The reason you have to motion him out is when he's not motioned out, or when he's just right here tight, and you try to put him on a comeback, he runs a flat instead. So you motion him out, put him on a comeback, and then that's the setup. So you have B on a drag, motion out, X to the left, and put him on a comeback. And then I will get into the clips now. So the first route you're going to want to look at is this A route. And like it is with so many of my plays, I love looking at streaks first because they tell me what my opponent's running. I like to keep the play action here just because I like the timing of it better. But you see, I'm going to play action. If he's running zone, I'm going to do the same thing I did with that spot shake, and I'm going to high pass it and get it over those yellows. I have Jimmy Graham as my tight end, and again, you're going to want a tall tight end for this. But you see, I hike it. I run the play action, and I'm looking at A, and as soon as I see that it's zone and I see that he's not using it or anything, I just high pass it, and you can throw him open. Even if he looks covered, you can definitely throw him open with the high pass. So let these clips play for a little bit, and then I'll get on to the next route. So the next route in the progression here is going to be this B route. You run your play action, you look at A, you see he's not open, you're going to instantly want to look to B. It's a quick read. A lot of times I just throw to B as soon as the ball is hiked if I see he's open. But he's going to get open against most zones. If he's running hard flats, he's going to be covered. But if he's not running hard flats, this B is going to get open because this X and Y routes are gonna take the deep blues and the flat, like the cloud flats and the purples away. That's what makes this play so good. Is this X, Y, and B combination is really tough for zones. He can get open against man as well. Because it's a tight formation, the corner is going to be playing outside. So if you have a quick receiver who kind of just gets right off the line, a man coverage is going to have trouble keeping up with them. So the last read here is going to be this X route, and it's one of my favorite routes in the game. It's this comeback route. It works really well against man. It works well against a lot of zones, and it's all about this route combination that you have. You see Y is running this deep corner, so that's going to take away the deep blue. B is coming underneath, so that's going to take away the flats, and that leaves this like nice cushiony zone for X to just sit by himself. You see I wait for him to break back, and then I hit him once he breaks back. Again, if he's running hard flats, this play is going to get open. If he's running cover 4, a lot of times this play is going to get open. And even gets open against man. It's such a good route. You can break off 15 to 20 yards play. So the last play I'm going to show you is this bench. And I know what you're saying. Wow, bench, you're not really breaking any grounds here, but I'd run it a different way than most people, and I think it makes it a lot more effective. I run this play on the left hash mark. It's universal. You can run it on either hash mark. You can run it in the middle of the field as well. The reason I run the left hash mark more is because I run the PA shot seams on the right hash mark. So in order to just keep my opponent guessing and to mix up plays, I run this more and I'm on the left hash mark. But the way you're going to want to run it here is you're going to put these X and B, these outs, and you're going to want to put them on flats. And I'll show you why that's way more effective when I get into the clips. So you'll see with this, I have by far the most clips with this play, and that's because it's so consistent. I'm going to show you the corners first. The corners are going to be your man read. If he's running man, you see right there, especially if the safety's manned up, those corners, you hit it on the break, and they're going to burn man all day. It's just they just don't keep up with the breaks this year. They haven't. I mean, I can't remember a Madden where man played corners really well. But you're going to hike it. If you read man, the corners are the read, and that's the end of the progression. Now, the reason I run these flats instead of man, as you see, this is against zone, and the reason you're going to want to put your X and B routes or X and B receiver on flats is because the defenders that are playing the sideline, either that hard flat, that cloud flat, or that purple, if your receivers are on flats, they have to decide way quicker whether they're going to cover the flat routes or whether they're going to cover the corners. So you can pretty much instantly see what your opponent's running. If he's running a flat route or a flat coverage, he's going to suck up into the flats immediately. If he's running a cloud coverage, he's going to back up to the corner. You can see that way better with the flat routes. If you just keep them on the regular outs that they are when you call the play, if they're running cloud flats or purples, they can kind of stick between the two receivers and play both of them. And that's why you run the flats. The flats they help you make the reads way quicker. So you see I have a bunch of clips during these corner routes. Now, if he's running zones and he's running hard flats and he's taking away your flat routes, these corners will get open in front of the deep blues. And you'll see here I'm just throwing to the left and I'm throwing it down as well, and then I possession catch it so he gets in front of the deep blue. The corners this year will definitely get in front of deep blues if you just pass lead receiver the right way. The only safeties I've seen play this are like Sean Taylor, the best safeties in the game. But for the most part, if they're running zone and they're running hard flats, these corners are going to be open. You can see it pretty quickly because of the flat routes that you have on the field. Now I'm going to show you why these flat routes are so important. If your opponents, a lot of people run cover 4, cover 3, even cover 2. A lot of people like to run zone this year, and they don't always put out hard flats. And you see here, if your opponent's not running hard flats, those cloud flats and those purples are always going to sink back to the corners. You just have to give them a second. And because they're on the flats and not the outs, they have to choose fairly quickly. So you see here I hike it, and you're going to want to give it a little time because the flat routes are going to go out and then they're going to stick, which is nice because they don't just run like retards at the sideline and run out of bounds. They'll definitely stick before that happens. So you see here, I'm waiting for his cloud to kind of sink back, cover that corner, and give my flat route some space, and then I hit him as soon as he turns around. You can even hit him earlier if the guy bails back quick enough. So yeah, I'm gonna let these clips play. I have a bunch of them just because, like I said earlier, this play it's so consistent. So I'm gonna let the clips play, and then I'll get into the next part of the scheme. So like I say with all my schemes, you have to have a running component, or it's really not much of a scheme to begin with. And this inside zone, I keep talking about consistency. This inside zone is one of the most consistent runs in the game, at least from what I've experienced. I run the draw every now and then, but I think the inside zone is so good that you don't really need the draw as much. Sometimes I like to motion the receiver on the opposite side. So if I'm running to the left, I'll take the receiver on the right and motion him towards the run just to get an extra blocker. You don't have to do that. The run still works really well without that. If you want to, some extra blocking, just motion that receiver across. You can even put like a tight end or someone with good blocking there, so you can get like another good blocker. The draw, a lot of people run that 3-4 odd cover 4. The draw works really well against that, just because draws work really well against that play regardless of formation. So if someone's running that against you, definitely hit them with the draw a couple times. This will work against that as well, but the draw can make them rethink dropping people back into coverage. So let these play, and then I'll get on to the final part of the scheme. So the last part of this scheme is going to be inside the red zone, specifically like inside the 15. The play we're going to be running is that bench play. Again, it's your audible. We're going to do something a little different here. Depending on which side of the field I'm on, like let's say I'm on the left hash mark, I'm going to want to take the receiver on the opposite side and motion him over. So now you have this corner and post combination. You see how they kind of split there about 10 yards off the ball? That's what you're looking for. So I'll get into the clips now to explain a little bit how to read this play. So basically for this, you're just going to want to read right where that corner and post split. This is similar to one of the videos I posted where you kind of high pass it at the back of the end zone. If he's running any type of zone, one of these two receivers is usually going to get open. If he's running cover 2, that A route will get open. If he's running cover 3, that Y route will get open. Cover 4 can cover this every now and then. I'm just depending on the safeties. But you see, I wait till they split and I hit one of them in the back of the end zone. It's pretty simple. You just have to make a read. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. I appreciate you watching. Just a few final thoughts here. This play is, or this scheme is very read based. So the plays do require you to make reads. If you have any questions about progressions or just how I was doing something or why I was doing it, feel free to leave them in the comments. If you didn't like the way I was running some of the things specifically and you just kind of want to take bits and pieces, obviously feel free to do that. But yeah, if you like the video, please leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. I do stream on Twitch, which I will leave in the description. But besides that, I may make an addendum to this video just to add a couple more plays. I just wanted to get things started with a nice base scheme out of this tight. But again, appreciate you watching, and Ergo out.